Well, I've talked about the fact that your wars and massacres are all just sadomasochistic games. Now I wish to talk about your games with diseases. You see, viruses and cancer are enemies of nature, just as you are. So they are your allies. Now, cancer only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to completely transform someone's body into a grotesque mass of cells. The person is totally unrecognizable. So on catatonic planets they have supersonic helicopter ambulances to rescue people who are in the forests. People are terrified of cancer. It is attacking everyone all the time. On the average, a person is attacked 20,000 times a day by cancer, and they have to rapidly destroy these cells. If they start losing control over the development of the cells, then it rapidly develops, and it develops like lightning, and it takes over their whole body, and they need a helicopter ambulance that is equipped with heavy radioactive bombing treatment. They have to be bombed with radiation to the point where they almost die from it. The fact is that they are stronger than the cancer, so the cancer will not survive it, but they will. There is no such thing as light radiation therapy at all. It doesn't work. It has to be heavy radiation therapy. It has to be almost lethal to destroy cancer. So that's cancer. Now viruses are have to follow the same principle. They do not operate slowly at all. You do not get a 38 degrees centigrade fever. No, someone is walking up the street and suddenly they get a 43, 44 degrees centigrade fever, and they feel very weak, and they rush into a pub and they have a strong drink, and then within 5 to 10 minutes they feel better. They have defeated the virus. That's how normal people operate. If they haven't defeated that virus in 5 to 10 minutes, then they're in grave danger and the ambulance needs to be called. So that's how viruses operate. Now, the virus that you call AIDS has a name that's called Hilva. Now, that is a very intelligent virus. It can actually transmit itself in any way, even through the air, even in any way at all. But it chooses to transmit itself by sexual methods because it wants to selectively abolish sexual pleasure in the world. Now, this is a very strategic thing. So the catatonic people do not surrender to this. In fact, they are ordered not to surrender in front of any viruses. They are ordered to have all viruses trapped within them and to fight against them. If anyone has a virus missing from inside them, then they have to have it injected into them in the hospital. They have a machine which has 40 syringes, because viruses try to escape from the catatonic people rather than the opposite. They don't try to actually get inside them, they try to escape from them because they're already inside them. And the 40 syringes go in at tremendous speed, and they trick the virus into the person's body. Now, once it is inside the person's body, the person has to make sure that it doesn't escape. Because the fact is this, that the virus has a certain power in its entity. Now it can attack a certain number of people and cause them a tremendous illness, but it cannot attack all people and cause them tremendous illness. It only can attack 1/millionth of the total population of nature maybe, and cause any havoc at all. If everyone has that virus, then that virus is in a bad condition and it is being attacked continuously. And not only that, but the gods also have the power to wake up the viruses once they have them trapped inside their bodies, and to make them howl and scream in agony. So this is felt by the entire entity of the virus, this suffering, because suffering is felt. And it has an effect on the entire entity of the virus, and drives it slightly mad. And the madder it becomes, the less efficient it becomes. So that's, anyway, talking about the attitude to Hilva. Hilva is challenged by having special parties organised by the state in which people indulge in sexual activity, and they do not worry at all about Hilva. In fact, there's a big sign outside telling Hilva where to go, and Hilva, of course, is offended by this sign, and being inside everyone, it selectively attacks a few people. Well, they only need 4 ambulances outside, and because it can't actually attack more than 4 of the 400 people in the party. It can't actually do serious damages to more than 4 of them. And when it does serious damages, it totally destroys their immunity systems within about 4 minutes, and cancer then takes over. There's this kind of collaboration between Hilva and cancer, that Hilva destroys the immunity system first, and then cancer then can easily, grotesquely transform their bodies because they have no resistance at all to anything. And of course the Black Death, as you called it, which has mysteriously disappeared on this planet, because you just play games with these diseases, and it never disappears on catatonic planets. I mean, it has nothing to do with hygiene at all, whether it disappears or appears. No, because they are extremely hygienic, the catatonic people. Their houses are absolutely immaculate. The police make sure that they are. They get fined if their houses are not immaculate. And the cities are immaculately clean. And they are the most hygienic people imaginable. But the Black Death, which is named Hymenean, still exists, and that is challenged in the church. As I have talked about the church is in the centre of the city. During most of the week, nobody can enter there because there is a monstrous spirit named Hymenean, which occupies that church, and if just 4 or 5 people enter, they will go to hell immediately. So on Monday mornings, very early, it opens, and the entire population is obliged to attend the church, and it's called the Church War, and it's conducted by the church priest and his wife, the priestess, who are the strongest people in the city. And they 200,000 people entering the church altogether, and they enter with their dogs and cats, so that makes even more beings entering. It may seem strange to you that dogs and cats can enter a church, but they do, because dogs and cats are more intelligent than you believe. And you see, because they don't have to pretend to be stupid with the catatonic people. They are intelligent beings. And anyway, the human beings and their dogs and cats enter the church, and they are a huge number, and they drive away Himnian, the monster spirit that is so terrifying. And no one is hurt at all, because with that number of people, Himnian can't do anything. Himnian is defeated. As soon as they leave at the end of the war, the spirit Himnian enters again and occupies the church for the rest of the week. But anyway, they challenge all the evil entities there, and hundreds and hundreds of people are carried away on motorized stretchers, because this church is very long. It is about a mile long. And the only people who don't attend the church are in fact the doctors, who have most tremendous day. They are operating on people constantly at a tremendous rate all Monday morning, who are arriving at high-speed ambulances from the hospital on a special road which goes directly to the hospital from the church. Our hospital is situated well away from the church, so it's situated in a clean zone, because the church zone is saturated with evil, and that's right in the centre of the city. Anyway, you people play games instead, because of course, as I said, you have your 39 degrees centigrade fevers which go on for a week or 2 weeks. Well, that's playing games with the virus. You have your problems with cancer, which gradually destroys you in 9 months or 12 months. Well, that's messing around with cancer. That means you have a secret agreement with cancer that it's going to help you display pain and suffering in the world, to help you create sadness in the world, misery in the world, to make your relatives sad and miserable and all this. Well, in the catatonic society, none of this exists, no sadness and misery or anything like that. Everything is rather on tentacles, but it's a matter of beating things in a very short time indeed, in a flash. Viruses have to be defeated in a flash. Cancer has to be defeated in an instant. Everything has to be defeated as quickly as possible. And of course, the famous virus which disappeared from here, which mysteriously appeared, then disappeared, no one talks about it anymore, which was named mad cow disease, is actually called MCD, but the initials MCD refer to something else. They refer to a poem which was decodified from transmissions from the anti-concept, meaning you people and everyone, in your unconscious, which says the most hideous things. And the poem is so hideous that you just call it MCD, It has nothing to do with mad cow disease at all, but it is actually attacking God's beautiful cows. Well, the humans were all ordered to drink as much cow milk as possible. With that was actually infected with MCD, so that they would all have to fight against it together, and nobody was allowed to be without MCD inside them, and no one is allowed to be without MCD inside them. It is an obligation of law of nature to have MCD inside you and to be fighting against it all the time, so that monstrous entity suffers in its unconscious, and when it's inside the gods it suffers consciously. So that's the whole game with viruses. That's a serious fight with viruses, a serious fight against cancer. It's a very serious thing indeed. So having explained that, I'll end this video.